Blessings to everyone. I haven't posted for a long time, and I'm sorry for that, but I'd like to make up for that omission by continuing our devotional or devotions on the Bible, particularly our text for today, which is James chapter 1, verses 2 to 4. I will be reading from the Christian Standard Bible. Consider it a great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. Previously, I've already commented on verse 2 with respect to this injunction that we should count it or consider it a great joy whenever we experience various trials. Because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. One thing we observe here is that experiencing trials actually is equivalent to being or to having your faith tested. A trial actually is an opportunity for your faith to grow because just like the body, the body increases in stamina, resistance, and strength when it undergoes exercise or when you exercise. You, generally speaking, become stronger, healthier, and that's what a trial is. It's a test of faith. It's a way or a means to find out whether your faith is really strong. Or we can also say it's an opportunity to make your faith strong or stronger. And the Bible is saying that this is actually a cause for joy instead of being sad about it, instead of considering a trial as something unfortunate or something tragic. In a sense, it's something that should make you happy because you now have that opportunity to have your faith tested and to make it even stronger. And the result is, as your faith grows, as a result of that testing, as a result of that trial, the result is you become a more patient person and your endurance, your spiritual stamina, your spiritual resistance increases. And this is actually a great blessing. We read later on in the book of James that those who endure are considered blessed. And that's another reason. And that's the reason why going through trials should be considered a cause for joy because if you approach it properly, it produces endurance, which actually is equivalent to being blessed. But why? Why do we say that if you endure and if you grow in endurance, spiritual stamina, why is that a blessing? And I think the answer is in verse 4. Let endurance have its full effect. In other words, don't give up while you are being tested. See it to the end. Make sure that really develop your spiritual stamina, your spiritual patience. Allow it to have its full effect so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. It's a blessing because a person who knows how to spiritually endure, a person whose faith increases, is strong, and is patient and persevering, that's once that endurance is really complete in a person's life, he becomes spiritually mature. And that's a blessing because that's God's goal for our lives. That's why God saved us in order for us to become conformed to the image of Christ, in order for us to become Christ-like. And that's the goal. And that's why it's considered a state of blessedness. Endurance equals maturity once that endurance is complete. And maturity, spiritual perfection, or or completion is an achievement, a great spiritual achievement, in the sense that you reach the goal that God has for you. Your spiritual maturity, your Christ likeness, it really glorifies God. And in a sense, we can say that you've reached the finish line, and you won the gold medal. As far as God's plan for your life is concerned. And isn't that a great blessing? Isn't that what really counts? That we fulfill our God given destiny as Christians, as saved persons, to really become like Christ. And Christ was a person who endured. He endured the cross. And that is what he also wants to cultivate, develop, and produce in our lives. But it cannot happen. That kind of endurance, blessedness, and maturity will not happen without trials. So ultimately, trials are a blessing if you see it from that perspective. A great blessing when the effect that God wants to produce in your lives is actually achieved or gained. And that's a cause for great joy. So, application: when we encounter trials, instead of becoming despondent and discouraged, let's rejoice in the Lord. Let's see beyond the trial and see the good purpose of God, in that He wants us to fulfill His plan for our lives. He wants us to become more like Christ, the Christ who endured the cross for our salvation. Be blessed.